he's got a long list of ideas.
Right.
But the core of it is awesome.
But the convention of states would be a great one.
Oh, I agree.
Start reining in our federal government.
Well, my personal opinion is we lost a huge opportunity this past presidential election. We have our nominee, that's fine, but I think Senator Cruz would have been the right step in changing the entire makeup of the Supreme Court and our Attorney General system. I mean, everything that's wrong with how our states are treated as far as our sovereignty, I think he was the right guy to do it because he's the expert. But maybe Mr. Trump can get his experts around him. I don't know.
Well, it looks like Trump's gonna be like maybe Andrew Jackson, gonna be a candidate for the people.
What's that?
I said, I think Trump may be like Andrew Jackson, candidate of the people.
Sure.
And start bringing it back.
Well, he did say he did announce Trey Gowdy as his Attorney General pick, which is stout.
I know you're saying we can't afford a lab here, but I've been on the grand jury 6 months. Okay, today we do 80 cases. I've got drugs, prostitution, the cocaine rocks in my pocket. And when you stop me and they search me, the rock is in my pocket, but these are not my pants. That's the thing. This is not my purse.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is, we cannot do a lot faster and to cut you getting out of jail. So we're leaving them there, but we need something here to take care of that problem. And it's bad. We're worse than Houston. Do you know our crime is worse than Houston?
I don't
It's bad.
disagree. No, I don't disagree with that.
So what's the answer there, do you think?
As far as the DNA portion of it?
Well, not just DNA, just checking me to see I'm bad and just doing away with me. If something,
Well,
I'm
we
a
can
sexual
mail you to
molester
Mexico.
or whatever.
We'll mail you to Mexico. Then you
No,
can
but
come back.
you need to, something needs to be done.
Isn't Valero owned by a Mexican company?
I don't know who their parent company is.
No, they're not a
American.
Mexican company.
They're based out of San Antonio forever, but I don't know if they've been bought out. Mr. Smith?
You brought up earlier, and you mentioned we didn't want a lawsuit about the Hazelwood Act.
Yes, sir.
Now, I've got to deal with what I was dealing with the Hazelwood and having GI Bill and Hazelwood at the same time. If I don't use my GI Bill and use it all up, my kids can't use the Hazelwood Act.
No, they're separate.
I understand that, but until I use the GI Bill, my kids cannot use the Hazelwood Act.
I'll look into that. Who did you talk to?
I went to the Lamar University and tried, they said, unless you use your GI Bill first, because I can't transfer my GI Bill to my kids. Because I went there after.
They want to use the federal money. Federal money has to be spent before the state will spend their
I
money.
was with the National Guard, and they got federalized, so I got the access.
I think they got a shut-off date on it now,
Unless I
too.
use a GI Bill, I cannot use that.
Let me look into that. My understanding is the intent of the legacy, Hazelwood legacy, is to allow children to use it regardless of what their parents have done with the federal money. There's 2 pots of money, and like I said, it'd been rocking along just great until this young man went and sued.
Trying to use the system.
People want to build a border on our southern states. People want to build a southern border.
Build a border around.
Build it on the north too, because California's done as much damage to this state.
So true.
They're stupid ideas. Then probably Mexico.
They are
Any
crazy.
southern-
They are crazy.
I'll go look at Austin and tell me it's filled with Californians. Tell me if they're doing
Appreciate
that
all
right.
you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, you mentioned it before we started. If you were at the convention on Friday the 13th, you saw half the delegates stand up for Texas independence if the federal government didn't behave. So if you look at the RPT platform, over half the issues that we have in Texas would be solved by that one act. So will you file a bill for Texas?
I will not. Let me tell you, first of all, I commend you on your efforts. People are talking about it, and it's not question if it's a good idea or not, it's whether or not they can actually do it. Texas can do it. It's not how I want to handle the issue, but I don't disparage anyone if that's the way they do want to handle it. I believe in nullification. I think we have allies across this country for that. I believe in the Convention of States. I think we have allies across the country for that. That's just not how I want to handle the issue, but I will tell you this right now. Like any issue that my voters in Southeast Texas are for, if I hear from my voters back home that they want me to vote in favor of that, I'll do it. I'm not to allow voters to talk about it. I mean, I'm talking.
Well, that's the Constitution. That's Article 1, Section 1, Article 1, Section 2.
I mean, if they say we want this on the ballot to be able to vote on, I mean, I personally would vote against it when it came to the ballot. But it's like gambling. I'm not for gambling in Texas, but if I had an uprising from people in Southeast Texas that said we want gambling, we're losing all this money in Louisiana, which by the way, I've not had people. I get about 3 people a year say we need gambling in Texas. But if I had thousands of people say we want a referendum on gambling, I would vote against it when it's on the ballot. But if my voters want to have their voice heard, then I would support it. And that's the same with Texas. It's the same with gambling. It's the same with any issue that I think that I shouldn't stand in the way of y'all having a voice on major issues. I think leaving the United States of America is probably one of the biggest issues that I would never occur in
All right, well,
legislature.
but even if you don't, I think one of the gentlemen that spoke, even if you don't want it, DC is not listening,
I understand.
and
They're not listening to anything.
well, that's the point. So that's good.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, you're against what we're talking about, but if you had 1,000 constituents come to you and say, we want this, you would still vote against what they want?
No, he's talking about the ballot. In the ballot
Personal
box.
conviction, he will
He
vote
has the right to
right.
vote his personal
Would you vote
conviction.
yea
My
or nay?
personal conviction is I do not want to leave the United States of America.
But I'm just saying, would you vote yea or nay if they come up, 1,000 people came up and said we want it?
To allow you to have that voice,
Yeah.
I would
No,
vote.
he said he would
If
vote
my
Right.
my district wanted me to allow them to vote on it, like any issue, I would allow that. I personally am opposed to it.
Well, how would you vote in the legislation?
Yeah.
If a bill came before the House floor that allowed y'all to vote for it, I would vote. If my people wanted it, I mean, it'd have to be a convincing majority of Southeast Texans in House District 21. If they came, I'm not going to stand in the way of that. I wouldn't do that on any issue.
Do a survey of your constituents, see what you got.
Do what?
Do a survey, we'll see what you get.
It could go either way. I don't know. You
Well,
know
the
what?
only way you know is if you ask for the survey.
Yep.
That's the only way you know.
Ask for a survey.
That's what irritates me. Everybody just starts talking about that Trump can't get elected, et cetera, et cetera. They didn't think he'd get this far.
Yeah.
So
I
you
mean,
don't
I
know
don't.
anything till you actually had a vote or a survey.
I don't disagree. I can tell you, out of all the issues I heard about last session, open carry, 20 people made contact with my office out of 180,000. No issue that I hear more about than the low-income housing in China, Texas. I probably got 500 people contacting me about that. So, it's not my job, quite frankly, to be honest with you, to conduct a poll of my constituents. If they want to reach out to me, my phone's there, my email is there. I don't have to reach out for every single issue, and I don't do that. I don't poll everything. That's not how I operate. If I think my constituents have a clear, convincing majority on something, even if I'm not, then conflict with my personal values, I would never. I don't care what they think about abortion. I'm 100% pro-life, and most of my voters said we want you to be pro-choice. That's not going to happen, but. If you're talking about a referendum, it could be anything.
Start the move.
Yes.
Okay, these last 2 questions.
Go ahead, Doug.
I understand that the bill that we wanted to get passed in Austin was basically a survey, taking it to poll, whether people, and it's non-binding, whether people wanted to have a vote on independence someday.
I mean, it'd have to be, I'm assuming a House resolution. I don't think it would be an HCR. An HCR would never see the House floor. You need 2/3 majority, and you're just not going to get that.
In the March primary, one of the referendums was that question, and I thought it passed in Jefferson County by 97%. So wouldn't that be your survey? Right.
I don't know if I would use that as a ballot survey.
Bob had the last question.
I just don't know, I mean, all the referendum passed. I
That's a
just,
good way of getting around something you don't wanna do.
I've given you my answer, I think it's very
You don't
clear.
got my vote.
That's fine.
I'll vote for you again.
I won't.
Did you have a question, Bob? That was the last question.
No,
Okay, go ahead. One.
I done had my statement.
We're gonna be able to vote in May on our new BISD, representatives for our area, right?
That news is coming shortly. That's out of my pay scale.
Well, I thought you might have heard, because I've got somebody that's in our area and we want to try to.
No,
get
we
his
want to
name out.
encourage, if you're a BIC voter, you want to get some great people out to run. That's the only way we're going to change things.
Oh, I know, and we trying.
Get good people in every precinct.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Dade. Give a big hand. Appreciate you coming.